Well, that was weird. It played on the thing, but for some reason the intro didn't play on my end. That's fine. That's fine. It's fine. It's gonna be one of those days because Mercury is in haterade, and yeah. So hi, happy April. Welcome to Let's Have a Fifi. This is season 12, episode 9 of your Wednesday night conversation. I am not Felicia Fifi Minor. I am unsure where Felicia currently is, but that's okay. This evening, you will find me in the role of your eccentric great aunt Mildred, because, yeah, I we're not gonna talk about we're gonna talk about it. I currently am dealing with a really mean case of pink eye. Um so I can't really put anything on my face. Hence the glasses, the hat. It's fine. This is what we're working with. It is okay. We got this. If you want to get exclusive content, make sure that you are following us on our Patreon. We will have put nifty things on there like our after show chat with Brendan McGill last week. There's sneak peeks of photo shoots, all sorts of fun stuff back there. We'd like to thank our current patrons, Brandon, Chris and Michelle, D, Drake, Jensen, Casey Starr, Karen, Corey, Kim, Joan, Leanne, Nicole, and Shannon. Special thanks, of course, to Wigs of a Kind for supporting us this season. I'm once again not wearing a Wigs of a Kind wig because reasons. It's fine. And also a big thank you to Guido Martin and Laura Renfro for their support this season. If you would like to tip us, sponsor us, whatever, you can do so at paypal.me/let's have a Fifi. And if she's feeling like it, you can text LHAF to 602-730-7379. Oh, there she is.
Hi.
And Felicia will what is Felicia doing? I don't know. Felicia will text you whatever it is she feels like texting you at the time.
This is now 2 weeks in a row that I've texted people to let them know that the show has started. So
That's
you're welcome.
excellent. That's excellent. It was weird. I played the video and it didn't play on here, but it played on the stream.
Oh.
I was very confused. But it's fine. Also, if you're on Facebook, you can also click the little stars button and you can send us stars. We earn like 3 cents per thing or something. I don't know.
Something like that.
No, I don't know. It's fine. But yeah, it has been an interesting week.
Oh.
For sure. So, as I mentioned last week, my partner was dealing with a really awful case of pink eye that totally fucked up our entire weekend plans, and she was so generous that she decided to give it to me.
Oh my gosh, she is so giving.
I know. Luckily, it didn't hit until Sunday, so we were still able to at least go to the Ren Fair on Saturday, which if we hadn't, I was going to be mad as fuck. Let me tell you.
Wow.
I was going to be pissed. I was going to be like, are you fucking kidding me right now? But I am, yeah, it's here. Just so y'all can see what I'm dealing with. Like, I look high. It's awful. My eyes are both still red, still bloodshot. It's awful.
But you don't have the awful gritty sense in your eye.
Oh, I do still.
Oh,
And my eyes are still
goodness.
glued shut in the morning. That's always super fun for me. Yeah,
Wow.
that was definitely not so awesome. And I've also got some sort of and this happened with her too, some sort of cough thing happening, like my nose is stuffy, my throat hurts. Yeah. I'm not thrilled with any of this really, but it's fine. It's fine.
And you've gone your whole life without catching this.
Never have I ever had pink eye. This is not a thing, and I don't ever want to get it again because this really sucked balls. But luckily, my doctor had some amoxicillin drops
Oh, wow.
as a sample, which was really nice because apparently the drops as a prescription are kind of pricey. But she actually had a sample. So I've been using those for a couple of days. So hopefully, I'm hoping that that shit kicks in and like, no, 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 she doesn't need to work from home. She enjoys her job. Who am I to tell somebody to stop what they love?
Oh my god. And work right next to you. That would be,
Yeah,
um, so lovely, and I
that
bet you would enjoy each other even more, D.
yeah, no, that
That's
happened for 6 weeks when she had her hysterectomy, and I was like, "Don't you have somebody you can go get coffee with?" Um,
Oh my god.
we tried a new sushi place on I don't know if it was Thursday or Friday with the
Oh,
kids, and
before
it
you
was
got
so
pink eye.
yes, yes, yes. But it's a revolving sushi, and it's a newer place. I think it just opened on like 20th Street in Camelback, um,
Like
and
the place you
it's
took me that one time.
yes, but this is a different place and a different like it's very much
Right?
like a Tokyo experience. I don't know, have you
Oh.
seen like the TikTok videos and shit where they have like everything being automated and whatever? Like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, this is the same thing. So it's a revolving sushi, so it's got the thing, but you can also order from like a little screen up at the top, and if you order something from up here, it sends it along a conveyor belt and it goes and then stops. And then there's a little robot that like goes around and brings you your drinks.
Oh.
Yeah. And the sushi's really good. And the sushi itself is like $3 a plate, so it's cheap. So
Huh.
it was good. And if you eat more than like 15 or more plates, every 15 plates, it sends down this little ball and you get like a prize.
Like a form of achievement because you've eaten a lot of
Hmm.
things?
Yes.
Wow. You don't
Yeah.
recommend working from home next to your person. Okay. Uh,
Mm.
I'm a what? That's rude. Um, what is this? Gang up on spouse night? What is this? I think you're the only person I could go to sushi with because
Oh. Well,
my
if you were
people
up on this side of town more, then we could totally go. But,
listen, listen. Let's do what we have, okay? Oh, that's crazy. So I'm sorry that you got pink eye. It's the gift that keeps on giving, and until it goes away, it doesn't stop giving. So I don't know what to
like my
say
whole
to that.
face hurts. Like my eyes are like everything around my eyes is like raw and like
Indeed.
sore, and I hate
I have
it.
caught it twice,
Ugh.
and that was after we had little people the
Ugh.
second time.
See, they're little
I
petri
survived the
dishes.
I survived the first round of children with pink eye, but then got it the second round. And
Blech.
hopefully don't ever get it again. Wash your hands frequently. That's all I can say.
This is not my favorite. I don't like this at all.
Um, wow.
How was your weekend?
Oh, this is old. Um,
I figured.
oh, because that is done. So let me tell you a little something.
Oh, oh boy.
Uh, so this is how you know that you are starting to need sleep, and sleep is important. So uh, last week I worked 2 12-hour days, but on the second 12-hour day, which was after our show, uh, the uh, it was like in the beginning of the final hour almost, let's call it that. Sounds very tragic. So I, uh, if y'all don't know, I photograph and, like, record events throughout the year, but, and, um, I had done something I have never done in nearly 20 years. I
Uh
dropped a lens.
oh.
That is the sound that I made when I dropped it. and
Oh no.
yeah, so it'll be repaired or replaced, but,
No.
for the record, I felt like I dropped a baby.
The lens is probably more expensive.
This particular one, yes, is.
Oh
It was not my own
fuck.
personal lens, which I'm thankful for, but, the fact that I dropped it was like,
I mean, the first one in like 20 years, I'd say that's a pretty good track record, all considering.
yeah, but I could tell I definitely needed sleep.
Ugh.
Um, and this weekend we kinda got to sleep in, so, if you're a parent, you totally know what I'm talking about if your kids let you sleep in and don't wake you up until, like, 8 or 9 o'clock. That's like a blessing. If they don't wake you up until, like, 10, even better, but we didn't get to 10. Um, so there was some sleeping in. What else? Oh, well, Easter was, a thing. The Easter bunny
You mean
came.
Trans Day of Visibility?
Yes, that too, but I'm talking more for the kids. Um, we did something that I didn't think that we could pull off. We did not give candy, which was I thought we were gonna have to kick and scream that I'm gonna get there, but I thought we were gonna have kicking and screaming. No, they were more excited about that the eggs had faces and were different animals. I was like,
Hmm.
"Oh,
We don't do
okay." So
Easter because Easter is stupid.
they all have imaginary fictional characters. I just go with the fictional characters. So I thought that was fun. Also, I did enjoy what I did see of Trans Day of Visibility. Um, in fact, your son was in DC, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yep, he was. He was doing all sorts of shit. And I get like messages from people going, "Oh my god, he's so great," and I'm like, I know.
And two,
Uh,
if there are any conservatives watching this before or during the live or on the replay, please know that you're in the wrong house if you think that uh, there was a controversy of Trans Day of Visibility and Easter being on the same day.
that's on y'all's fault. Like, you can't keep Easter on the same day. It keeps shifting and shit. Ours
Well,
is
it's
always on the same fucking day. That never changes. Easter's always like, I don't know, maybe we'll do it on this day. This year, let's do it in March. Next year, you know what? Let's just fucking wait until June and we'll just do it then.
if
So that's on
anything,
y'all.
if anything, Jesus came back as a zombie. He transitioned, and that's all I can
Actually, he was more
say.
of a lich than a zombie. Zombies are kind of brainless and don't really. Liches
Okay,
are like high functioning, like zombies.
zombies.
So he's more of a lich than a zombie.
Okay, so he transitioned into a lich, and I don't hear anybody talking about it. So maybe we should talk more about that and
They
why
don't
we
want to
believe.
admit that they all like worship in a death cult. Literally, there's like carvings of dead people on crosses and
Mhm.
shit. They drink blood and eat bodies. If that's not a death cult, what is? Like, come on now.
Mm. Mhm.
Just
Mhm.
saying. Just saying.
The
So,
Dahmer
anyway,
cult.
speaking about
You're
death
welcome.
cults, is a terrible segue. So, my tip for this evening, we're going to talk about washing your face.
I did. Can't you tell?
Yeah,
Mm.
it's not Halloween.
It doesn't have to be. Every day
It's
is Halloween for me.
because you're an alt queen.
Shit. I don't put labels on it.
Ah!
I don't put labels
Uh,
on it.
so it sounds silly, but it's one of these things where like I don't think people talk about this enough. And I don't think enough importance is given to like actually washing your face, even with just soap and water, for God's sakes. Like skincare is important in general. And
Mhm.
I mean, but not everybody is able to afford like the $100 a bottle, like astringent and shit. Like some of those creams and stuff, some of those skincare products are insanely expensive. And like the average person cannot afford that shit.
Mhm.
And, I think that people sometimes look at that and go, well, there's no way that I could have, good skincare or whatever. But I promise you can. It's just
I will tell
knowing what you
you,
need.
I turned my skincare around drastically a couple years ago, and it doesn't cost me that much separately, but maybe collectively, it's a little bit.
It all starts adding up. And
Mhm.
plus, it's only been like in recent years that like there's been a focus on like men and skincare, which is unfortunate. Like it should have been something that's been talked about forever. Like boys and men should be encouraged to wash your face, take care of your skin. And it's only been like relatively recently that's been okay for guys to do. Otherwise, it makes you,
Well, because it was seen as like a feminine thing or a
right.
woman's thing
God
to want
forbid
your
somebody
face
take care of
clean.
themselves, because then you end up being effeminate, stupid. Like I mean, when the boys becoming teenagers and things like that, we try to make sure that everybody knows that washing your face needs to happen, especially as teenagers, because hormones and things.
Can
And
I say something before you wash your face? Can you please wash your hands?
oh Lord.
I don't know if that's
Mm.
assumed or
I
whatever,
mean,
but
washing your face in the shower is always good. That way, everything is getting washed at one time. Like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's, a good, like, decent, basic face wash can be found for relatively inexpensively. Almost any store has everything from like brand names and high end shit down to like not like their store brand or whatever, which is going to be less expensive, but still good if you know what to look for. And
Mm.
things um, like if you need something that's a little more like exfoliating or whatever, dollar stores and stuff, I'll carry like the little silicone pads and like things, the brushes and stuff that you can use to kind of get in there a little bit more. It, so what does washing your face do? Because a lot of people are like, well, if I wash my face, would it like so what? Like it's like, well, there are things that actually like it does stuff. And I
Oh,
mean, obviously,
ooh,
yes,
ooh.
yes, you with the face, yes,
Um, but we have to think first that the skin is the largest, one of the largest organs that we have.
it is
Like,
the largest organ.
it is like the more love you give to it, the more it pays you back. Uh, Especially if we're chasing lines and things in our face.
I mean, it's a thing, Not everybody is going to be able to, afford all this shit that's going to make you look 20 years younger. And frankly, you don't need to look 20 years younger, like this. Yeah.
Oh, thanks. I
But
appreciate that.
like just basic washing, like washing of your face, it helps remove dirt, excess oil, dead skin cells, and other like unwanted debris, which like you're like what the fuck. But if you work outside a lot, if you do a lot of different things, you're going to have stuff that collects on your face. Could be
Mhm.
dirts, could be particles from food, it could be particles from like mechanic stuff and metals and things. Like all this
Well,
stuff is going to like blow around, it's going to collect on your face.
in recent years, they have, also included that, pollution,
Mm-hmm.
can collect on your face as well as, like, pollen. If,
Yep.
you have allergies, it's, like, advised that you, like, wash your face once you've been outside. Like
Yeah, because that stuff, especially if you have like facial hair, things like that, like it will stick on your face, it collects on your face. Acne happens when your pores get clogged with dead skin cells and excess sebum, which is the like oily stuff that gets secreted
mhm.
underneath your skin. And washing your face helps keep those pores clear. And it's like you'd think you'd think this was basic, common sense, but a lot of people it's really not. And a lot of people don't understand what happens with your skin and why it's important to keep it clean. And washing your face and moisturizing helps maintain the proper level of hydration and proper pH level. And again, you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars on, high end moisturizers and high end all this stuff. You can go and get just a basic skin moisturizer, facial moisturizer for
Mhm.
not a lot. And that is even going to help your skin to look and feel better. And if you use other products, if you use things like an anti-wrinkle cream or like different types of moisturizers, etc., washing your face will help those products actually work better. And again, well, why wouldn't I wash my face before I put that on? Well, again, not always common sense. People are like, oh, I'm just gonna throw this stuff on, and it's like, okay, but is your face
Ew, what?
clean? Like, is
Hmm.
is it is it a clean place to be able to put things? Or are you just
Well,
slapping,
because if you put
layering
the
shit on?
moisturizer on top of it, then you're just, like, embedding the dirt in your face.
Well, great, you're just gonna throw it on top and then wonder why the things aren't working. That's why. Like, you want to cleanse the palate before you put more things on it. And again, you would think this was like common sense, but again, common sense is not always super
So
common.
common. Oh, wow.
And washing your face is especially important if you wear makeup, and is especially important if you happen to be a drag artist or a cosplayer or someone that wears a lot of makeup, prosthetics, adhesives, things like that. It's so important. I see people talk about like, oh yeah, this is how I do my face so I can sleep in it. I'm sorry, what?
What?
Sleeping in your makeup, any makeup, whether it is day makeup or whether it is drag makeup, sleeping in your makeup is a really, 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 really
And it
bad
ages
idea.
the skin.
It's like your body when you're sleeping is like that's when your body like
It's
takes all the time to do
repairing.
like healing and stuff. That's when your body takes the time to repair itself and does all the things that it needs to do to sort of make things better. And if you are literally sleeping with makeup on, it doesn't matter what kind of makeup, you are blocking all of your pores. You are irritating the skin, even if you're like, if you don't necessarily have skin, like an irritation or a sensitivity. Sleeping in your makeup, even just once, could really like irritate your skin for quite some time.
That was me a
And
couple weeks ago.
yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. No, actually sleeping. Like I have literally seen people do tutorials on how they set their face so that they can sleep in it.
You can look up TikTok, tutorials that say, like,
Right.
sleep makeup. I think I
Yeah.
looked that up once.
That is a really, really fucking terrible idea.
It is
Don't do that shit.
I will also say that it dehydrates your skin. So there's so many chemicals in our makeup. I know that it's not, like, safe, but the sooner you can, like, take it off and cleanse the skin and let it repair while you're sleeping, because our bodies do that, um, is the better thing to do. Because when you're doing that, you don't give the skin an opportunity to, like, bring new skin cells to the top or shed, because we shed, as disgusting as that sounds.
We
And
do. It's
then
gross.
for us as artists, sometimes our pores are like tonight, I will have to do like a deep scrub of like my face because I will be like pink and
Yeah.
my pores will like give it back to me and be like, this is not what we want in here.
Yeah. Yeah. Like when I'm in full face, like if I'm heavy duty makeup, like if I'm in a lighter face, like just a usual just sort of drag face, it's a little bit
You
different.
mean
But
a natural face?
mm, when I'm like full color, full like everything, I'm sure that what I do would probably make people go, "Oh my god!" But to get that first layer of stuff off, I actually use Dawn
Oh, yes. And I think it's
because
common for us that use heavy theater makeup.
it's like it's I don't use it as like part of my normal skincare routine. It's
No.
to get that first layer of shit off. And I figure if it's, safe enough for like baby ducks, then I can use it once in a while on my face. Um and so I'll use like the Dawn first. I'll get all of that crap off, and then I'll go into my usual routine with, the scrubbing and the exfoliating and all that stuff. So I have different facial washes. Um uh, depending on my needs. I have like a more exfoliating one. I've got
Mhm.
a gentle one, and I've got like a hardcore like scrubbing one that I swear to God is like metal shavings. That's just it's like
Oh,
it's hardcore. Um, I don't use that one like all the time because that's gonna like take too much stuff off. But sometimes if I'm like again with heavy makeup, every once in a while it's good to kind of get that like extra exfoliating stuff in there so I can get into the pores and get into the crevices and all that shit. Um, I use like a toner, I've got moisturizers, but I also pay attention to what my face is doing. If there's any redness or irritation, which can happen with makeup or adhesives or whatever, like right now, like everything around my eyes is red and raw and miserable. Um, so I haven't put any actual moisturizer or anything like on it. Um, when I'm washing my
it's
face,
good that
I
you
have
don't.
a Right. I'm using my most gentle face wash just to make sure the things are staying clean, but I'm also not using anything else after that
I
because
would advise against it from
you know,
experience. You will scream.
yep, that shit is raw, 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 raw.
I would say
Not
my skincare routine probably takes way too long, um, because I am a gentle scrubber. Um, so when I get up in the mornings, it's like I always put water on my face because I do like the night moisturizers, and sometimes, sometimes you feel it just kind of sitting on there,
mhm.
and you just put the water on, and your skin goes, oh, just a little more, and then you do the whole like wash. I use Neutrogena. Um, I have sensitive skin, so a lot of my face washes do not have scents in them because if you don't know, um, the fragrance can sometimes irritate your skin because of the
I'm actually
alcohol
gonna get to that. I'm
content.
gonna get to that.
Um,
It's on the
but
show sheet.
I have a couple of exfoliators. I have one that I probably won't talk about because it is really expensive, and I only use it like once a week and maybe a dime size. And but
So,
it does the job. It does the job.
uh, mm, uh, choosing, the right cleanser and that type of stuff, that's important. So you need to kind of understand what your skin type is. So if you have excessively dry skin, avoid cleansers with a high alcohol content, and cream-based cleansers are actually best if you have drier skin. If you have oily skin, find a cleanser with like a lower pH level, and foam or gel cleansers are actually best for people with oily skin. If you have sensitive skin, find cleansers that are free of fragrances, heavy additives, a bunch of shit in it, because it's more likely to irritate you. Like, eh, you're gonna end up with like you're gonna put stuff on. They're gonna be like, oh my god, my face all red and splotchy. Eh. If you have allergies or if they're a concern, look for natural cleansers without any synthetic ingredients. Um, and cleansers that are marked as gentle are usually pretty good at removing dirt without the over drying or irritating in the skin. So if you're not sure and you just kind of want something to be able to just kind of clean things, and maybe you have combination skin, sometimes it's sensitive, whatever, just get something that's marked gentle, and that should do the job pretty well. You don't have to go overboard with it. And honestly, in a pinch, if you are somewhere and you need to wash your face but you don't have anything, soap and water is better than using nothing at all.
True.
Like, just it's anything is better than nothing, really.
I have learned so much about skincare in like the last 10 years. But I would also advise that if you have a problem with um, chemicals or anything, if you're gonna use a face wash, you can try like vegan face wash.
Mhm.
I know that it sounds so ridiculous, and people go, "Well, why would I want vegan?" And I'm like, "You're not eating it. Get it? I get it. Laugh, laugh, laugh." But sometimes it's like the organic approach, and also
Right.
um, when you're looking at, because Freddie said avoid high alcohol content. Look at the first ingredient. If the first
Right.
ingredient is like alcohol, it says alcohol first, just avoid that altogether.
Hmm.
Um, I would definitely recommend anything that starts with water first, because those are the types that, just start gently and then do the work. Because mm, I have been.
And I would also recommend looking for things like paraben free. You don't want to use parabens.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, stuff like that. Look for things that say like paraben free because you want to stay away from all that shit. That's not good stuff that you want to put anywhere on you. And also, if you are someone who is melanin deficient, make sure that you use some sort of sunscreen, whether it's especially if
I
you go
would
outside a lot.
recommend it
Um,
for even melanated people.
True. But use it on your face. If you have moisturizers now, will come with an SPF. Especially if you spend a lot of time outside. Um,
I
some of
use a
us don't
green
leave the
tea
house,
moisturizer
but
with SPF
if you do
in it.
leave the house, make sure that you use something with an SPF on your face as a daily moisturizer. That'll help things as well, and it'll help reduce the amount of sun damage.
Also, sometimes you can go to not sometimes, you can go to Walmart or Walgreens and get those little face masks. Those are
Mhm.
so um, sometimes you can pay a little extra, like, if you go for the Neutrogena ones, but stick with, like, the dollar, $2 ones. They
And you
do
can get
just
a giant
as
pack on
well.
Amazon too.
Yeah, just I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you're in the store, just grab
Yes.
one of those, and every once a week, put one on. Helps a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We do have some
Oh,
current events to talk about.
reasons to eat rich.
No,
Oh,
eat the rich.
oh, oh,
So,
sorry, I'm hungry.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, this feels like me. Oh my god. Not really, but reasons to eat the rich. Currently, more than 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Mm. We have one of the highest rates of childhood poverty among major countries on Earth. Not Mars. We'll be there one day. More
Right.
than 600,000 people are homeless. On average, Americans work, oh, Jesus Christ, work 700, or so,
No,
it
470.
feels like 700, but it's 470 more hours than people in Germany, 300 more hours than people in France, 279 hours more than people in the UK, 204 more hours than people in Japan, and 125 more hours than people in Canada. In 1965, the CEO of a large corporation in America made about 20 times more than the average worker. Today, they make about 350 times more than the
Mhm.
average worker. I will
Mhm.
say, I think Scott sent me a thing that said in Phoenix, um, the average household income to survive was about 100 and something.
About
Uh,
120,000 is what you need to make as a single income to be able to live decently. And they say that you need that much to buy a house, and frankly that's bullshit, because you need that plus like a near perfect credit score
yeah,
plus like the down payment plus all that shit. So that is horse shit.
yeah.
But also, if anybody would like to buy the house that's across the street from us, we really like it to have like super cool neighbors, so please consider doing that. Thank you.
I wish I was in the market for that, but I'm not. Let's see. Ooh,
Um, so this is for folks that grew up watching Beverly Hills 90210 or Charmed or whatever the hell she's been in. 52-year-old, 52, mind you. She's only 52. 52-year-old Shannon Doherty has announced that she has stage 4 breast cancer that has metastasized to her brain and her bones. Mm.
yikes.
I
And
never
I
liked
believe,
Brenda. Brenda was a stupid bitch. I didn't like her.
yikes, character. Um, it's so interesting because I feel like cancer is just like so normalized now. I don't know what to call it. Whereas I felt like when we were like even maybe 10, 15 years ago, it wasn't as normal. I don't know. I feel like
I feel like we've just become desensitized to it. And at this point, because of big pharma, like there's never going to be a fucking cure. So it's just one of those things where like, oh look, somebody has cancer. It's like school shootings. It's like, oh look, there's another school shooting.
yeah, like they're not doing anything about it. I
No,
just feel and it keeps increasing. I saw a report that we're increasing in the amount of cancer
of course we are,
cases.
because our food is all shit. We eat nothing but chemicals. Like we're like everything is like cancer inducing. Like everything causes cancer. Like because
Wow.
and mainly because like people are eating so much processed shit
Mhm.
because stuff that's not processed costs too fucking much,
It's true.
and we're all fucking broke
Went
because you
to
have
the
to make
grocery
six
store
figures to be
and
able to
barely
afford
got any
something that's
items and
expensive.
felt like I walked away broke, so
Yeah,
it's
two
fine.
bags of groceries, you end up with like a
You're
head
like,
of lettuce.
$300? What?
Right, it's like a head of lettuce and like a Coke, and all of a sudden it's like $80. You're like, what the fuck?
Speaking of no money,
Mm.
I guess how this keeps going, I have no idea. Please bear with me as I read this, as we pray to zombie Jesus. Trump posted his $175 million bond. That's it. That's it.
Yep, he got another insurance company to underwrite it.
Who was that? Are we unsure
I
by
don't
the way?
remember, but
I
the
just
insurance company is owned by another billionaire. So,
oh, so he did him a
mm,
favor.
essentially,
Got it.
right.
Remember when people were like one percenters? Remember that fight, guys? This is kind of like what we were talking about
I
just
don't
a
know
moment
why
ago.
people still think that Trump is going to be the person that's going to like make them rich. Like he can't even fucking afford $175 million bond when he was talking about how much money he fucking has. Like people still buy into his bullshit. But okay, whatever.
They even started a GoFundMe. People in Kentucky, I think.
Blows my fucking mind. Speaking of bullshit, the University of Texas at Austin is eliminating an unknown number of diversity, equity, and inclusion staff members, as well as closing its department focused on access and belonging on campus in order to comply with the new anti DEI state law. In case you missed it, Texas
Hmm.
passed SB 17, which bans public colleges and universities from maintaining DEI offices, holding mandatory DEI trainings, and having departments focused on promoting differential treatment based on race, sex, or ethnicity. Basically,
There's a whitewash movement.
yeah, which I think is funny because didn't Candace Owens like get on all up on that and then she got fired?
Hmm.
I was like,
That is
oh, well.
that is a different woman. I
I'm
have
like, you're
watched some of
sitting
the
here
videos
championing this
lately.
bullshit because you want like all white workplaces and they listened to you, so they fired your ass.
Yeah, she's
So yeah.
different. She's different herself. Um,
So this is just another like example of shit that states are doing. Meanwhile, crickets from the fucking White House. Because
They
apparently this is
celebrated
okay.
Trans Visibility Day.
Good for them.
That's it.
Yeah.
I can tell
Meanwhile,
you
states are
that
still
there
trying to take away rights and healthcare.
so, the University of Texas is not the only place that has started to, eliminate the DEI,
Yep.
positions and efforts in the workplace. Um, it has become apparent that, somebody asked me about jobs over the weekend, and I told them I would keep an eye out, but I feel like they should pivot at some point because, um, the country is on a what I just said, whitewash movement. Um, and for those that don't know, DEI is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And this is not affirmative action. This is something that is like making sure that people are treated fairly in the workplace. That
Right.
like that when you speak in the workplace that you're making others feel comfortable, not like overcompensating, but like making sure you understand
Help.
culture and
Right, and kind of minimizing discrimination, sexism,
yeah, because
racism, things like that. Because we don't need that. We're fine.
white people aren't racist.
No, totally fine. We don't need, you know, diversity, equity, and inclusion training in places
Yeah.
ever.
So,
Totally
if you work
fine.
in DEI, I highly encourage that you. I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to say, but I feel like this was an opportunity for people to kind of embrace and uh, secure change in our country, and they did just the opposite. And
Yep.
so,
Because
um,
fucking Texas, and what that does now is that sets a precedent for other states to do the same thing. I can't
and
wait for the
u-
same thing to happen here.
usually it's like Kentucky, Alabama, or Florida. So
Right. And
if
then
you live
start
in
spreading over
those,
here.
yeah,
Because
because those people have like cousins that are their brothers that move here, and so you know, if you decide that's the way you want to be, I think that you should unsubscribe to our podcast. Um, Also, um, Beyonce, I keep talking about her, but it made me think of things because I heard people talking about it, and I don't care if you like it or not. It's not about that. Because it kind of rides on the coattails of DEI. This is what I'm um, where people have written that country is supposed to be basically they don't say it, but they mean what they say is that country's supposed to be white. Um, and it includes what's her name? I'm always forgetting. Is it Linda Martell? Linda Martell.
sounds about right.
First black singer to be at the Grand Ole Opry. Yes, that's her. She's on the album and introduces a couple of the songs. And Dolly P signs off of it. Dolly Parton and
Hmm.
Willie Nelson has signed off on it. So many people have come out and support, but then you read like the comments on the Instagram or the Facebook, and you're like, this can't be the real America that I live in. But it is.
Yeah.
So, um, things to think about is that genres don't have race, but we allow for that to happen. So I think the album is good. Um,
I don't entirely agree with that. I think there are some genres that really should stick with certain people, like I think
just don't use the N word.
reggae. I think reggae is kind of
There's
a
white
specific.
Jamaicans. Pause, 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 pause.
you talking about those like two weird kids with the dreads and shit? Um,
No. No.
um, yeah, no, I don't know. I think that there are some things that probably aren't so much for folks like me. It's because it's not my culture. It's not like
Or at least be sensitive to, but
right. Because
here
like
we
there are
are.
white rappers and
2024. We're still trying to figure out
just
what
don't use
America
the fucking N
is.
word. Just don't do that. Don't start.
Also, over the weekend, there were folks protesting locally and nationwide about free Palestine. I'm not. I know that I am for freeing people and people having their freedom, but I'm still very interested to learn more on what's really happening and how we
It's
are not helping, but we're trying to help. I don't get that
no, we're
part.
not doing shit. Actually, we keep funding Israel, who now you have to the biggest thing when it comes to this conflict is understanding that Israel the government is
Mhm.
not the same thing as Israel the people, or
Oh.
because the government is basically who is uh bombing the aid workers. They're bombing the hospitals. They're bombing all the. They're the ones that are basically just committing mass genocide.
Yeah. Because
But
they wanna overtake the land or
right, right. It's been this whole Israeli Palestine conflict has been a thing for eons. It has been
is this part of,
ongoing
like, the Gulf
for
War saga? Sort of?
uh kind of. It's it the the borders and things with Israel and Palestine, like it literally goes back to like biblical times. Like it goes back literal hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Um
And now it's
Israel,
just gotten way out of hand.
it has gone it's gone too far. There is the Hamas group, in Palestine is a small group of
Mhm,
people that have resorted to basically terrorist tactics.
mhm.
But the amount of damage that they have caused is nothing compared to the amount of damage that the Israeli government has caused that we are currently funding.
Oh,
Correct. Um, there are there have been social media posts. There have been things where you see like um,
I have seen some devastating,
it's
devastating
been it's
Facebook
awful, and
posts.
it's all on the Palestinian side. The amount of death on the Palestinian side has been
Mhm,
just
mhm.
unfathomable, and it's
Well,
the
and
if you look at like
I
the whole thing with the Israeli government right now is they are looking to wipe out the Palestinians. They don't want any fucking Palestinians. They want the whole
why?
race gone.
Why?
Um, because they want Palestine. They want that. They want those
They ha
borders. They want and like it and it, it's it's
It's very
ridiculous.
complicated.
It's one of those things where there's never really been peace in that area. Like there's never really been peace. If you know anything about history, if
I
you
do.
go back, like they go back to the even the Canaanites and like it
'Cause I feel like they've been
literally goes
fighting since
back
I
to
was, like, a
biblical
ki
times.
I mean, know that they've been fighting since before, but I feel like they've been fighting since I was a kid, and I've always
Oh yeah,
seen stuff about this back and
yeah.
forth, and
Well, Israel didn't become a country until 1948. Yeah, I'm gonna check that. Da, 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 da. Yep. May 14th, 1948 is when
Hmm.
David Ben Gurion was the head of the Jewish agency, proclaimed the establishment of the state of Israel, and Harry S. Truman recognized the nation on the same day. So before that, there was no Israel.
Hmm.
So
But there was a Palestine?
yeah, it was British Palestine, um, which
That's
it was
weird.
British Palestine in 1920 because that part of the Ottoman Empire was given to the British as like part of the
A
deal
gift?
basically after World War One. Um,
Oh.
yeah, it's a very complicated and very messy history, uh, but
Are we still is there still a conflict going on in the Ukraine too? I mean, is
yep,
that whole
that's still
area?
happening.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Just craziness.
it's and it's all very messy. So as far as like Palestine, um,
Now Gaza is part of all of this mess too, or no?
yes. So the West Bank, which includes East Jerusalem and the Gaza Strip, um, they were basically they were administered, they were admin, they were like taken care of from 1948 to 1967 by Jordan and Egypt.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
It's yeah, it's a very uh,
I guess you read about countries being taken over or uh conquered by others or rulers claiming their space. Um I just I think right now it's like your head is like trying to wrap around like I read about this like people overtaking like the Roman Empire and all this other stuff and like your brain is like is this really happening right now? So
it,
yeah, it's very
yeah, like I said, it's very very complicated, and if you go back to like biblical times, what is now considered Palestine, it was inhabited by Semitic people, with the earliest being the Canaanites. Um, According to tradition, i.e., the Bible and Abraham, who was the common ancestor of both the Jews and the Arabs, came from Ur to Canaan. So it's very, very,
oh
very,
wow.
yeah, it's very messy. It's very like, it's a mess. It
That's why when people are like, "What is your take on this?" And I'm like, I feel like I'm just sitting over here trying to figure out what's going on. So,
What is happening to the Palestinians right now is something that should never be happening. Um, it is it is awful, and the fact that
mhm.
the Israeli army is bombing like hospitals and aid workers, children, um, knocking out um, supply chains, things like that. They're literally starving children. They're killing children. They don't care. Um,
Mhm.
that's the biggest issue is that Israel is just sort of killing indiscriminately and is just yeah, but that's still happening, that's still going on, and there have been how many, let's see, now I'm going to Google something here real quick.
Are we funding a war?
We always are. We're always funding a war. So as of so as of the 5th of March, so as of a month ago,
Mm-hmm.
There were about 1,400 Israelis who were reported killed in the war. 30,000 Palestinians.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and I saw this morning
And
on
over
Instagram.
136 UNRWA aid workers.
Um, I think I kind of turned off after I have seen so many. Uh, like somebody was on Facebook Live over there,
Yeah.
and they were being bombed as they were walking down the street, and I was like,
Yep.
no. There's no way I would I would be on a Facebook Live, by the way. And no. Like,
Yeah, it's the daily death rate in Gaza is higher than any other major 21st century conflict. Uh, Apparently, the Israeli military is killing about 250 Palestinians a day.
just for some land.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah.
I
There
don't get
were
it.
the in October when Hamas decided to attack Israel. Um, there were about 1,200 people killed in those attacks compared
Mm.
to considerably more.
So,
It's
that makes
the
sense why
the
people are
the balance of
protesting.
the balance of power is so skewed.
Lopsided. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's no way like the Palestinians can't they can't compete with the Israeli army. Basically, there's no way they can't
So
even
why
defend
don't
themselves. So they can't
so
they
why
can't
not just
like
go in there and just invade it, I guess. I don't know.
because they
Um,
don't want to. Their whole thing is to eliminate Palestine,
that's
and I think they've
crazy.
actually said that. Like that is their like that's their mission statement is to eliminate Palestine. That's why
Wow.
the protests have been there. That's why everybody is saying free Palestine. That's why you see so much about it because it is so outrageous the fact that this is happening and the
And
Palestinians
we're
are
funding it.
essentially we are funding it. Yes, yeah, we're sending money, and I think we might have at one point. I don't know if we still are, but I believe we might have been sending arms and stuff too, because that's what we
Like our
do. We fund wars.
oh boy.
We've funded almost every war that has happened. Like, oh, Middle East conflict here, have the things, you know. I mean, for fuck's sake, we
But we're
trained
paying
and
like
gave
$10
money
for
to
milk.
ISIS. Like, we literally were like, we're the ones that like trained ISIS
That's
and
crazy.
like gave them weapons, and then we were like, oh shit, whoops, my bad, sorry. Yeah, this is what we do, and this is why part of the reason why Biden's approval rate has tanked right
Dropped.
now. Tanked because he's not doing anything. If he spoke up and was like, "No, we're not doing this," then
He would lose
you
his
know,
dollars or his support or his oil rights.
right?
Let's get down to
Yeah,
business.
it's a fucking mess. It is an absolute fucking mess over there, and it will continue to be so until there's like a major something. Like there has to be
Um,
like a major power that's like no, this needs like y'all need to knock it off, or there's going to be some major sanctions. Like there's no sanction. There should be sanctions. There's no
oh,
sanctions. So Israel's just doing whatever the fuck they want to do. Like this is why it's a mess right now. And it's unfortunate because like I know people in Israel. Like I know people, I that are they are Jewish, they are Israeli, and they're dealing with all of this shit. They're not in the
Well, I
military. They're not a
saw
part of anything, but like,
one profile of a family living in Israel that had family in Palestine. Uh,
yeah,
Not that I recommend that you all watch this, but you should probably watch it because it's like heartbreaking because they are they don't want to pick sides. They just want to live.
right.
They just want to like go home and like do what we're doing. And they have family that they're worried about that are going to be killed by their own government essentially
Yep.
then.
Yep.
Cuz I
Yeah.
thought it was the
It
people. I thought it was the people fighting and invading. But if it's the government,
no,
then
it's the government and the military. It's not the. I mean, obviously there are people in the military, but it's the government, really. So yeah, it's a fucking mess. On a lighter note, what gigs do we have coming up?
so on April 14th, do I have one before that? No. But every Wednesday is our Wednesday night conversation, so that's my standing gig. But on April 14th, I will be at Stacy's for Magic. On April 17th, I will be at Drink Me Tea Room for Drag Bingo. And then you're next.
I don't have anything in April right now. I don't think. And then May 3rd, I'm actually part of a the premiere show of a new burlesque show in town, hosted by Carmen Side Me. It's called Secret Garden, and I guess I get more details, but I think it's like a secret location. You have to like get tickets to find out where it is or something. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to get more details on that. But it's a brand new show, so it should be fun. It's myself and a few other entertainers, and so it should be good. And then May 24th is Fan Fusion here in Phoenix.
Mhm.
And I will be
Doing
doing
all sorts of
uh,
things.
all sorts of things. At least one day I'm doing um,
You're producing
Drag
the
Story
drag
Hour.
show.
Um, so either Saturday or Sunday, I'll be doing one of the Drag Story Hours.
I thought I
Um,
had said I was okay with Saturday.
okay, then I'm doing Sunday, whatever it is. And then Justin Sider and I are doing a Nerdly Wed game, which that should be super fun. That is happening on
Oh.
Saturday. And then Friday night is the drag show and the burlesque show, which the drag show is going to be fucking fantastic. There's so many awesome numbers that are being planned. And then
Mhm.
this year, I'm not actually I'm not emceeing the burlesque show, but I am performing in it. So that should be fun.
Wow, busy
Mhm.
bee.
I know. So if you're a fan fusion, make sure that you set aside some time on that Friday night and come hang out with us for some awesome shows. And that's all I
Uh,
got going on.
uh, shows.
Shows.
Yep, that's it. We're
Cool. Okay,
we're
bye.
open for booking. We're open for bookings. Just send us messages individually or together. We do things together occasionally.
I
People
know.
think we
Book
like
me for
each
something,
other.
y'all. Like I do fucking perform. Like what the hell? That's fine.
Oh, do you? Oh, that's
I
crazy.
know. It's
That's
fine.
crazy. But anyhow, on that note, because you probably have to go take care of your eyeballs. Um,
Wow. That's rude.
thanks for
So
tuning in for your Wednesday night conversation. Thank you to all who watch live and who watch on the replay, and those who endure our vocals in your ears
I feel
on
like
the
this is probably a
podcast.
good podcast episode.
Um,
Don't actually look at us.
I feel
It's fine.
great. I look fabulous. Thank you very much. I was running late because I got a little too involved. That's all I'll say. Because I was about to do more detail, and then I thought, "What am I
I was
doing?"
like, what the fuck? Like, where the hell are you? Like, why am I starting this by myself? It's fine.
And then I was like, "Oh, what time is it?" And then I looked down. I was like, "Oh shit." Anyway, so you too can fund maybe a clock or 5 in my bathroom. Um, no beeping tonight for a second night in a row.
No,
Uh,
I heard that's great, or I didn't hear rather. That's fantastic.
I am still pressing the button before the kids go to bed, so you're welcome. One day I'll get up there and actually replace the battery. Um, we're at more than 15,000 downloads, I think.
Hey, look at us go.
Yeah. So if we could just get to 20,000 by next week, that'd be great. Just go ahead and share this with all your friends, email it to your boss, and that'd be great. Thanks for listening to us. Thanks for looking at us. I'm so sorry. Uh, see you next week for your Wednesday night
Good
conversation.
night.